Alright guys, today I'm going to show you all the camera equipments and gear that I use to get stunning images like this and like this. Alright, let's go. Welcome back to my channel. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is IBK. I am a Rhode Island photographer based in Rhode Island. I specialize in portrait photography, events photography, and I started my photography business 2 years ago. A big disclaimer that I want to make before I even get into the gear and equipment is that you do not need an expensive gear to start your photography business. Do not try to get the most expensive gear. Don't try to get the high-end gear. Just start off with what you have and what you can afford in the beginning. It's the only disclaimer that I want to make in this video. You don't need an expensive gear. Photography is not based on gear. It's based on first the user, and second, I think, is the lighting setup that you have. So don't get the most expensive gear and don't try to spend all your money just on camera gear. And with that being said, let's get into my photography equipment. Let's get into my bag. First thing I want to show you guys is the bag that I use. My photography bag is the Neewer brand. Neewer, they make a bunch of light setup and a bunch of lighting equipment. So I do have the Neewer bag. I'm gonna try to leave links of all the equipment that I mentioned somewhere in this video. Maybe it will be in the description, or it'll be like in the actual video, like on my top of my head or something. But I'll try to leave links, so maybe you guys if you guys are interested, you can just click on the link and try to cop the equipments. But yeah, I do use a Neewer bag. I actually love this bag. It has a bunch of compartments where you could just like store your different equipments. It has tons of space, very spacious. You can put, I think, up to like almost, I think, 15 or 20 compartments where you can just like store your camera equipments, whether it be your gear. One thing I would say about this bag, the outside of the bag is kind of like softer. It's not harder, so if it does fall, there's not really protection in terms of the outside being damaged. But other than that, I do love the bag. Now let's get into what's actually in the bag. So the first thing I'm gonna start off with today is my baby. This is my baby right here. This is the powerhouse of the cell, if you can say so itself. This is the A7IV. Just gonna show you guys real quick. This is the A7IV, and oh my gosh. So backstory, I did start off with the A7III when I first started photography. My first big purchase was the A7III. Amazing camera, great for hybrid shooters that shoots video and pictures. Very good quality, great starter kit, great camera for a beginner. I used that for about a year or so, and then I upgraded to the A7III, and I tell you, the difference in these cameras is amazing. I think the A7III has a 24 megapixel sensor. The A7IV has a 33 megapixel sensor, so the image quality is an upgrade. It's like, you could tell the difference. It's so amazing. I think for video it shoots 60K. Oh, I'm sorry, it shoots 4K 60 FPS. I think crop though. Ergonomics on this camera is amazing. It makes it very comfortable that for you when you're holding the camera. I can't say enough about this camera. If you're a beginner photographer trying to take your business to the next level, trying to take your photography to the next level, I recommend getting the A7IV. Get the A7IV. Like right now, go and grab the A7IV. Great camera. Can't say enough. Like I said, I do also have the A7III. It's actually what I'm recording on right now. It looks almost identical to the A7IV, but the specs are different, of course. So yeah, that's it for the A7IV. I do have another camera that I did use in the very early stage of my photography career. and that is the Nikon Z30. Yes, the Nikon Z30. So Nikon actually advertised this camera as a vlogging camera. So it wasn't really meant for pictures, or it wasn't advertised for pictures. But I tell you, this camera takes amazing pictures. The quality on this camera surprisingly was good. It is the Nikon Z30. So yeah, when I first started photography, this was the camera that I used for about, I want to say like 6 months or so. It did its job. It helped me kind of like learn the basics of photography, learn how to shoot manual mode. And yeah, Nikon is actually like a really good brand for cameras. I'm actually thinking about putting my hand on another Nikon camera, the Nikon Z7, I think that's what it's called, Z7. I kind of just like the color science that Nikon has. But yeah, if you're a Nikon shooter, let me know in the comments below. But I do love Sony though, I'm not gonna lie. Sony is the camera brand that I would choose over all of them, but I kind of like, dabbling into different things and learning different, brands. So this is the Nikon that I have, but I'm thinking about getting the Nikon Z7 Mark II. So now let's get into lenses. The lens that I have right here in my hand is what changed my photography career. It's what really made my pictures go from good to great. What I have in my hand is the Sigma 24-7 Mark I. This lens right here, this glass that I'm holding, made a huge difference in my photos. Like, it really changed the game for me. Image quality on this is amazing. It is great in low light. It has a f-stop of 2.8. 24-70, great for wide and also great for establishing shots. I can't say enough about this lens. If you're a beginner photographer, if you're into portraits, even events, like 24-70, you could get wide shots, you could get personal shots. This is a great lens to have in your arsenal. If you don't have a 24-70, or even if you're a Canon shooter, 28-70, like, you really need, I think that's a versatile camera, one of the most important lens that you can have in your arsenal, a 24-70. It is Sigma though, that's one thing. When you get in third-party lenses, Sigma and Sony, in my opinion, I don't really see a big difference in getting a Sigma lens versus a Sony lens. I do know that Sony autofocus, if you have the same brand as a Sony, the same lens, the autofocus will be better and ultimately better picture quality. But are you really gonna spend that extra $1,000, maybe $2,000 on a lens? Or you can get this for about half the price, maybe even 75% off of that price. I think I got this for about maybe close to $899, almost $1,000. And I know that the Sony G Master Mark II is probably $2K or so. I'm not gonna spend that much money. This does the job for me, and it's a great lens. The other lens that I do have, and it's actually what I'm recording on right now, is my 35mm Sigma lens. This is the DGDN Art 2, I believe. So this lens, I really love it because it is f1.4. It's great for having that bokeh blurry background, great for portraits. It's also great in low light because of that f-stop. I really love this lens. The only thing I would say about this lens that maybe I would try to switch it out, it is a prime lens, and because it's a prime lens, it stays at 35mm. You can't zoom in, you can't zoom out. If you want to go in and out, you have to literally walk in closer or go farther back. Other than that, I really love this lens. It's great for wide shots, as you can see in this video. Great lens. I think I got that lens for almost, it's actually one of the first lenses I got when I started. When I switched over to Sony and started, taking photography more seriously. I think I got it for maybe close to 1K as well. So great lens, great investment. One pro tip for you guys: if you guys are not ready to invest in your business, I'm sorry to say it, but your business is not gonna grow. You need to be ready to invest. You need to be ready to, pour into your business so your business could pour into you as well. Pro tip for you guys. And another lens that I do have, and I kind of regret getting this lens, is this is a Sony lens. I think it's called, it's a 105mm lens. I forgot the name of this lens actually. You can tell I really don't care about this lens, but it's a crop lens, and that's really why I didn't like it. I have a full frame camera, and it's a crop lens. Actually, when I bought this lens, I had no idea that it was a crop lens. This was when I was starting off. I didn't really know much about cameras, and I just thought that this would be a good lens. Turns out it's a crop lens. If you guys don't know what a crop lens means, it means that basically when you take a picture, because it's a crop lens, it automatically zooms into your picture and you lose your picture quality. You lose some pixels in your picture, and it makes your picture quality go lower, if that makes sense. So yeah, so if you have a full frame camera, try to get a full frame lens. Don't get a cropped sensor lens. Other than that, this would be a great lens if I didn't have a full frame camera. So we talked about lenses, we talked about cameras, so let's talk about lighting. So the first two lights I want to talk about is these on-camera lights that I have in my hand right now. So this is the Neewer TT560 speed light, and this is the TT600 speed light. So these speed lights are actually, when I first started off photography, these are the speed lights that I use. Amazing, does the job. Obviously it's not as robust as some of the other speed lights. It does use battery instead of charging it. Other than that, great speed lights for beginner photographers. It does the job. I'd recommend this one though, the TT600. So now this is the speed light that I really recommend. So this is what I use right now, the Godox V100. This is a great speed light. If you need an on-camera flash and you don't already have one, go grab yourself a V100. It does do manual and TTL. It goes up to 100 watts. And if you guys don't know what TTL means, it basically means that your light pretty much senses your lighting environment and chooses the flash power based upon your lighting environment. So the flash does the work for you. You don't have to put in a manual and try to figure out what flash power it needs by yourself. It automatically does it for you, and I think that's great, especially if you're shooting in a fast-paced environment and you don't really have the time to kind of like figure out what manual mode it should be. Go with TTL, love it. So those are the on-camera flashes that I use. For off-camera flash, I do use the Godox AD600. I know you guys probably know about that flash already. It's in my other room. I don't really want to go get it, but I'll put a picture on it somewhere in this video. And I also use a Neewer CB200. I think that's what it's called. I'll also put like a picture or a link of it in a video somewhere in this video. So yeah guys, those are my camera gear and equipment that I use, and this is what is making my photography business go crazy right now. If you guys are interested in any of these equipments that I mentioned below, you can ask me in the comment section below. I'll try to have a link to all the equipment that I said or listed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.